expressed during this program are solely the opinions of the host, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily represent the views of the advertisers, management, staff, or ownership of WCTC.
Take Jersey Central with Bert Barron with you every morning. Listen online at WCTCAM.com. Jersey moves fast. Join the show that keeps you one step ahead. Jersey Central with Bert Barron on the new Talk Radio 1450 WCTC.
It is 8:08. Welcome to hour number 3 of Jersey Central on the new Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. Our phone number, 732-545-9282 or 1-888-545-9282. And I give you the numbers now in case you'd like to reach out and comment and join the conversation with our special guest who is here. He is the deputy editor and dining editor of New Jersey Monthly Magazine, and it's time for our New Jersey Monthly. And this time around, it is the August 2015 issue, Where to Eat Now, our top 25 picks. And let's welcome in Eric Levin back to WCTC. Eric, good morning. Good to see you.
You too, Bert. Thanks for having me on.
Great to have you back. And this time around, the top 25 restaurants, in no particular order, but talk about the methodology, how you arrived at the 25 best that New Jersey has to offer.
Well, it involves a lot of eating.
That's good. That's the fun part, right?
I get to do a lot of that, but and also a lot of driving, literally from one end of the state to the other, and a lot of consulting with my food writers. And in the end, I make the final pick of the 25, but it's based on those things, on a lot of actual eating and recommendations from people who also eat out a lot.
So it's you kind of go all over the state and you work with a lot of people to arrive at this list, and you get the final say. I like that.
I like it too.
That's good too. So let's take a look at some of the particular restaurants who are here, and we'll start with a local place. And I like the way you described this. You used a term I had never used before. You called it exciting food, and you were talking about the presentation at the legendary restaurant in New Brunswick, the Frog and the Peach. What makes exciting food, Eric?
That's a great question, and that really is a word that is very important to me in judging a restaurant or any kind of meal. It's like, are the flavors on the plate vivid? Are the combinations and contrasts of the flavors and the textures interesting and both unexpected and just right? It's almost a paradox. But when all those things come together, the flavors are forward and the contrasts are all working and everything is a little complex perhaps, but it all comes into focus as one exciting mouthful after another.
I like that term, and I'm going to start to, when I go out to eat now, I'm going to think, would Eric say this was exciting or not? I'm going to have to use that as my criteria now. But I guess it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, you could have a dish that's, the presentation is so-so, but the taste is out of this world. But the presentation still has to be there, or vice versa, where it looks great, but it just doesn't do it for you.
Well, that's a really good point, Bert, because there's a lot of food at the high end that looks exquisite. And when you eat it, it's the excitement isn't there. The excitement is just looking at it.
Sometimes you know from that first bite too, right?
Yeah, you do. And it's especially prevalent in entrees. Appetizers tend to be more exciting, more interesting, more varied, which is kind of a topic in itself. But an entree, a lot of chefs feel like, okay, we got to have a major protein, whether it's a pork chop or a fillet of fish, and a vegetable, and maybe another element. So there's a kind of regimentation to entrees. When a great chef creates his entrees, there's usually more thought that goes into it. It's not quite as simple as that, or the pieces fit together in a way in your mouth that just goes, there's that word again.
Yes.
It's exciting.
Yes. Right. Very good. Eric Levin is here, and we're going through New Jersey Monthly's August issue, the 25 best restaurants. Frog and the Peach, Tony, you want to talk about some other Central Jersey places that have made the list that you were excited about?
Yes. There are 8 newcomers to the list this year. One of them is Drew's Bayshore Bistro in Keyport. And Drew is actually Andrew Araneo, who grew up on the Raritan Bay in Keyport, started working in his father's roofing business until he slipped and tore up his knee.
Oh, boy.
And then, as he said, so what did I do? I got a job where I'm on my feet for 12 hours a day.
Right.
But he had always loved cooking. And then when he discovered New Orleans cooking, he actually received a copy of Paul Prudhomme's Louisiana Kitchen from his parents one time. That was it. That's what he fell in love with. So Drew has been there for 14 years in Keyport, cooking the most passionate, personal take on New Orleans and Cajun food. And what I found in talking to other chefs around the state, as I was telling them that I had been to Drew's again, and I just thought that he'd raised the level of his cooking, and also he has the best space now that he's ever had. He had This is the third location,
Okay.
and it's the largest and most comfortable. What I found was that a lot of chefs in New Jersey know Drew, love him, and really respect and enjoy his food. And when people heard that I was putting him on the list, this is the first time that Drew's is on the list. They were very, very happy for him.
Sure.
And chefs are very competitive, and mostly they root for each other. But there are some who they don't root for.
Yeah.
But Drew is definitely somebody that everybody feels happy for.
And to just get their name in this list that you've compiled, Eric, this is bragging. I mean, this is something you could proudly hang on your wall and say, "Look at me, I'm one of the best restaurants according to New Jersey Monthly Magazine." That goes a long way for bragging rights, you know.
Well, we actually do send them something that they can hang on the
That's
wall.
great.
It's an actual plaque that
Right.
says your top 25.
Very cool. And this is good for Keyport. Keyport needs a nice place like this with a chef with this kind of reputation too. It's going to go a long way there.
Yeah, it
Okay.
helps.
Yep, definitely. Jersey Central traffic and weather time, 8:15. Traffic and weather every 10 minutes on the fives, and we'll come back, spend some more time with Eric Levin coming up next. Let's get through the roads and Bernie Viter.
Hey, Bert, good morning. It's actually been pretty good for us. We don't have any major issues. Definitely busy, though, on Route 18 northbound by Old Bridge Turnpike and into Route 1. That's volume. 287 northbound, a little slow exit 1 towards exit